Hey guys, Bronco Carl 92 here again. It's still Sunday, October 28th. We're waiting for the storm to come, so it's supposed to come, I guess, later. And there's not really much more to do as preparing wise, so I got the Honda here and I'm going to put a set of brakes on the back of it. The calipers are frozen up on this, and as you can see, the rear brakes have not been getting much action. In fact, that business right there is from driving with the brake on, emergency brake on. So let me get these wheels off, and we'll swap out the calipers and bleed them and take it from there. So, as you can see, these calipers are pretty nasty. The pads are completely wasted on them, and they're locked up. So what we got to do is got to take the banjo bolt loose here, get the brake line off, and then 2 bolts on the back to hold the calipers, and then the rotor should just pull off. So this should be actually quite a quick, easy job. So let me just grab a couple tools and I'll put you back on in a sec. Alright, well, all the nuts and bolt, or all the bolts I have to take out here are 14 millimeter. I've got an assortment of wrenches and sockets. So the first thing I got to do is take this e-brake cable off. I've sprayed it down with some PB Blaster. Of course, this one is not in the best spot for accessibility. See if this ratchet wrench will work, since I got that broke loose now. Oops, sorry about that. So I guess if I don't take this off, I'm not really going to have any clearance to the lower bracket bolt. I think this car has 140,000 miles on it. I just drove it here, I should remember. It's not too bad. I tell you, I gotta like these Hondas. They tend to last pretty good. Alright, let's see here. Cables off, and there's the bolt. I guess I can crack the line loose next. Wow, could you say tight? I would say this caliper had to be off at least once in its life. Even though, judging by the way the rotors look, maybe not. I'm working on the right rear first, because when you bleed the brakes, you're supposed to bleed them furthest away from the master. And I'm just going to do these one at a time, put the wheel back on and go to the other side. So bolts aren't that long, it's just that the Japanese really love a fine thread. Wow. What a piece of shit. Okay. Caliper's off. I guess I'll have to get something to whack this rotor. And I'll stick the other caliper on in a second, so put you back on in a second. Alright, so I got the rotor off. I got a new Kelsey Hayes rotor here. Made in Japan, not China. Which is nice, because, you know, it doesn't make sense to put a crappy Chinese rotor on a Japanese car when you can get a Japanese rotor, if that makes any sense. I mean, this car had Japanese rotors on it when it was built originally, and like I said, I think the Japanese actually do care about quality. I mean, that's a nice looking rotor. A nice finish on it. Alright, so we'll get some brake cleaner, clean the rotor off first before we stick the pads on. Paper towel to wipe that off. That's good. And I got this Nastra. I don't know if you can see that. Nastra caliper. I chose these because they actually came in a pair. And it made more sense to get a pair and pay a $75 core charge for two instead of $75 each core charge for individual calipers, and they wound up being the same price, so I'm happy about that. So let's see here, let's grab a bolt, let's put our brake line out of the way for a second. Drip. Assembly is the reverse of removal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this top bolt snug, and then I'm going to put the line on and crack the bleeder open, and I'll let this thing gravity bleed while we're buttoning everything else up. New crush washer is very important. Make sure always that the old crush washers are off before you put the new ones on. Otherwise you might have a surprise leak. Brake cleaner, here we go. Brake fluid is one of my least favorite automotive chemicals. kind of ranks up there with me with antifreeze. I can't stand antifreeze either. I think it's, nope, maybe a 10 millimeter. Yep. Okay, so the bleeder's open. I'm just putting the emergency brake cable back on now. Cables on. I've got some air bubbles action here coming out of the top of the caliper now, which is good. So she's gravity bleeding for me now. I'm going to get out my my vacuum bleeder in a second, and we'll suck the brake fluid through. All right, so I'm going to bleed the brakes now. I've got my my vacula here, and I got the hose hooked up, and I got a wrench on the bleeder. Is this the best system to use? I don't know. It works pretty well. I have a brake bleeder kit that I bought from Phoenix Systems that Stacy David raves about, and I could never get that tool to work right. I paid a lot of money for it, and it was very disappointing. In fact, I hate it so much that I won't even take it out of the drawer that's right behind me. But whatever. So anyhow. One thing to note when using a system like this, when you're going to vacuum bleed brakes, it's a little tip I learned from Corvair Wild. Put some Teflon tape around the threads of the bleeder so no air can get through, and it'll basically work like a charm. So here we go. I don't know if you can see the hose or not with the glare, but there are a couple of very small air bubbles coming out, and that's pretty much it. So the gravity bleed actually worked quite well. I filled the piston up, and I don't really see anything else coming out. So I'm going to lock her down. Turn her off. So, all right, I'm going to put this wheel back on. I'm going to do the other side, and I'll talk to you in a bit. All right, so driver's side's now done on our 2002 Accord. I don't remember what I said what the mileage was before, but I just had the key on. It's 145,000. So, car's been around the block a little bit. So this side, caliper doesn't really want to let go of the rotor here. Look at these nasty ass rotors. I mean, I can't believe this one especially. Look at that. Anyway, I'm going to go take the Honda on a road test, and I guess we'll see what's going on for the rest of the afternoon. It hasn't started raining yet. I got to go up on the roof and just do one last blow off of the gutters so we don't have any cloggage. So I'll speak to you guys later. Take care.